I hope you are having a happy day, because I am. This new video, I'm being serious actually, this is a really good day, or at least, yesterday was, because someone has finally made a good video, a huge video, calling out the bullshit of DogPack, of all the stuff that nobody gives a shit about, but he puts it up, and it just makes clear slander. And again, I've said this 100 times, I'm not a Mr. Beast fanboy. The last video I watched was I don't even know, but when someone makes such clear bullshit, meant to slander someone, then how can you watch it and not be like, this is dumb, I'm not gonna waste my time with this. But the issue with DogPack is that he does that and gets millions upon millions of views. And that's bullshit, okay? That's bullshit! But one person, God bless him, Soggy Cereal, has put out a content cop on DogPack, and it's pretty fucking good. Insanely good. Okay, I normally hate the connotation of a content cop, but in this one case, he deserves it, because he fucking killed it. Yeah, the video's called The Real Truth About Mr. Beast, so face value, it's not about DogPack, but he completely tears into him. And it's actually funny, the shit he has against him is actual evidence that DogPack or Dawson could never bring up. Actual research, interviews with people, actual stuff that you could vet and prove that's real, as opposed to him being oh, there was a rumor, someone said, no, allegedly, all that stuff. No, Soggy Cereal, he can prove it. Right, so it's a huge video. I won't cover everything about it because it's so insane. It just pisses me off against DogPack. I'll cover the main two things and a side note that really blows the video off the water. Right, number one, I think this part he covered. It was probably common knowledge, but it probably flew over my head. There's now an explanation of, the backstory of how Delaware was hired. Right, for one, you have this Chad called Dustin Harris who works at Mr. Beast, and he's so sick of Jimmy not putting a response, he went out and talked to Soggy Cereal to get out an explanation, to actually clear up the story. And he gave the explanation of how Delaware was hired back when Jimmy was 19, and his channel blew up, Mr. Beast, when he was an infant. It blew up, and he went to a Best Buy to hire a couple of people from there, and one of those people was Delaware, which you can actually see in the actual video he made 5 years ago. And Mr. Beast was giving $20,000 to homeless people. Yeah, this one, I gave $20,000 to random homeless people, and you can actually see him there in the video. So the entire explanation of why he hired him, as opposed to what Jake the Viking said, or what people believe, of Jimmy knowingly hiring a registered sex offender. No, it was simply just awful luck where he went to a Best Buy and hired the wrong guy without knowing. But people have been saying, oh, it's very dumb. Even Soggy's video, he's oh, was it a dumb mistake? Yes. And once I agree, but at the same time, he goes over how Best Buy is a huge store. It's not a tiny crack store, doesn't do a background check. The likelihood of someone like Delaware working at Best Buy is very low, but he still somehow found a job there. So I don't blame Jimmy, when he was 19, for believing that some place a Best Buy, a big store, wouldn't do a background check, or at least hire someone that's a registered sex offender. So of course he believed automatically that they were a good person to hire. And plus, he was fired right after everyone found out that he was a registered sex offender. So the most you could blame Jimmy on is that, once the company got big, they should have done a background check on everyone, including the people already hired. Maybe, that. But again, I just think it was a very brass move as a 19-year-old that's oh my god, I'm massive, and he really got the worst luck possible of hiring a registered sex offender. Some people probably won't accept that, but for me, I do somewhat. It's way better than the shit Jake the Viking was saying, oh, he knew who he was and he should hide him. Right, so that part, it does clarify quite a bit. It looks nowhere near as bad as people believed. And then the next part that goes back on DogPack, for being a piece of shit that just fucks over people for his own benefit, is that back on his Mr. Beast a Sociopath video, he got a secret phone or under the table recording of someone talking shit about Delaware, and he put it in the video. And the issue is, now that video came a long time ago. Fast forward, Soggy interviews him and he talks about like how that video fucked him over. Because everything he talked about in that recording was simply like just gossiping, like water cooler talk, not serious.
I have a friend who, I worked with plenty of times outside of Mr. Beast. Just thought it was just like a normal call, just checking up on him, him checking up on me. And, when two people speak about old places, there's drama, there's gossip, there's catching up, there's, et cetera, whatever. And then the next thing you know, 2 weeks later, DogPack releases like a 12 million view video where, I just have a really crappy voice changer over my voice. And if you know me, like, it's me. I don't think any of the stuff that we were talking about really had any facts or like evidence. It was just water cooler talk.
Would you say them using the call recording unconsensually in their video has damaged you or your life in any way?
Yeah, unfortunately. To say that it hasn't hurt me financially would be just a lie. Mentally, it's hurt me as well. I mean, I was manic and crazy for about a month and a half trying to just watch relationships like fall through my fingers. I lost someone that like was pretty close to me as well. It just wasn't a good scene. So financially and mentally, it really messed me up.
But the way that, DogPack was in the video makes it seem like it's actually, real information that can be trusted. It fucked him over, financially and mentally for that poor guy. Because he was still working at Mr. Beast at that time. And he even said, like, despite like the shitty voice modifier, anyone that knows him would recognize, oh, that's his voice. So again, like if you have a recording of you saying this shit about a company that you work at, of course it'll fuck you over. And DogPack, he didn't care about that. He got that recording without consent and put up in the video for like a second of like how it could affect the person speaking. Which now fast forward, we know that it did heavily. Right, but now it's part 2, talking about LaCoya Hill, which is like another big story. I mean, for me personally, I never gave a shit about LaCoya Hill, because whatever DogPack said, it was based on nothing, like it had no substance, so why would I care? But anyways, Soggy, he's actually insane. In this video, it's so crazy. He went to like North Carolina with the company's ad and interviewed employees that worked with DogPack and said that, yeah, he was shitty. But one person was like hiring manager, and she actually explains like the drama, the crimes that happened with LaCoya Hill, sorry. As he explains that at the time, she was working the HR department, and LaCoya Hill had an assistant that went to her and asked like, can you please like do something about this guy? Because even though I'm working for him, he makes me feel uncomfortable. And because of course, like, firing LaCoya Hill, who is a manager, would be way too extreme. So her option was to move him to a different role in a different company owned by Mr. Beast, and still have him like keep a job. Not the same company, like not the same job, but somewhere else where like the assistant could feel more comfortable. And then like once the assistant left, he got hired back to back to the original job.
Whenever somebody reports it, I go, hey, okay, like, thank you, I appreciate it. We're gonna make sure that we do everything we can to look into it. Then we always hire a third party company, either a lawyer or someone that's like not here to like prove one person right or wrong, but like a
unbiased
true unbiased party. And so then they write a report and then they go, hey, here's what you should do, right? And so that's what they do. And then internally what we do is like, okay, the assistant, like, what do you want to happen, right? If it's this, if it's that, like obviously if it's found like he's gone, like that's not okay in any workplace,
If it's like confirmed that there is some,
like of course, like we're not gonna hang on to that, right? And so, and he was like, yeah, I don't necessarily want him to be fired, but like I don't want to be around him, I don't want to see him, like it's just really uncomfortable for me. It wasn't a secret, like we moved him to a new company idea that we had. He was the only person in that company. He wasn't even on site, he wasn't working in the building. When he wasn't here anymore, I think it was like almost a year after the assistant like had chosen to do whatever he wanted to do. Then we were like, okay, we'll bring LaCoya back to help, because at this point there's no conflict anymore.
And after that was it. Nothing else she said. No reports of him drugging and raping people. No mention of him fucking the assistant. Just that. So like what DogPack said about people, rapists being moved out of the company to protect them, that was an extreme, slanderous portrayal made by him to make the story more insane when he knew nothing. But let's play devil's advocate for a second. What's the one thing that Soggy had to concede and admit he was right about? The one big thing Jimmy did technically do one illegal lottery where he made it like in a live stream. He made it seem like you have to buy a T-shirt to enter, but in reality, it's completely free. However, in the description, it doesn't mention that. So people bought a T-shirt thinking like it was the only way to enter when you didn't have to. So I guess in that sense, it is illegal, and he fucked up. But I want to show for a second. Right now, like in the beginning of the video, he shows like a huge board of like, all the lies or allegations that DogPack said. But then fast watching in the video, those are all the ones that have been proved to be wrong, bullshit, and just clearly lies with actual proof of them. And that's actually insane. Like most of them I didn't give a shit about, because honestly, back when he made like the first video being like, oh, Mr. Beast is a fraud. He faked this, and this, and this. It's all CGI in his videos. In reality, I was like, okay, that's pretty. I don't give a shit. Talk about like this Richard sex offender, and now that was proven to be not entirely true. And now also, Soggy Cereal proved that most of the shit he said about being fake was actually, even that was clearly lies to slander Mr. Beast as, you know, as a fraud. Like, Soggy does more research and effort in this video than DogPack did for his entire story, starting back like in summer, that long ago. And again, I really have to say, please go watch Soggy Cereal's video. It's actually really good. He's got interviews with employees that worked with him, that hated him. He's got, you know, more shit proving that DogPack was a liar. And he even has a recording of like when he got fired and he was begging for his job, like a baby.
I'm a boy, I'm our CEO. And part of my job is you're pushing back on everything that we're saying. So
well, because you're trying to fire me and I want to work at this company.
I'm the CEO of this company. If I'm talking, don't interrupt me. And I am telling you this is what's happening and you're telling me that I'm wrong. I am not wrong. I've made the decision. Here, we will take care of it.
I appreciate that. Can I please have a second chance?
It's not.
Just, if I'm getting paid, just let me come in and let me try to be coachable. If Cody changes his mind, can I? And I've been trying to get to this point of working on Mr. Beast for a long time.
And with that recording and with all the interviews, Soggy like really emphasized like how now it's clearly proven that Dawson is just like some disgruntled employee that wants revenge in some way and wants, you know, fame. Because he was like a huge fan of, you know, Mr. Beast and wanted to work there. And now, or you know, back then we got fired for like 30 days for doing a shit job. And now you can clearly tell that there's a vindictive side to him, which is most likely fueling a lot of this drama from the first fucking place. With the video ending, I'll just say now. Initially, I believed that Dawson was an idiot that had no idea what he was doing, and he didn't have like a tiny legal bone in his body. But now watching this, it's very clear, like it's so obvious that he's just a pissed off employee that wants to, you know, like, have some revenge, you know, fuck over people he doesn't care about, you know, like scrounge up lies, and even like including ones where like he was actually there during the production of the video that he called was fake, even though he's right there and he knew it was clearly real. And that branches off to no belief I have of him now, where, you know, in the beginning he said like, you know, oh, I'm not gonna do this for money, like it's not, the videos are monetized. And even though that is true, it is clear now he's doing it for attention, for clout, because, you know, like, oh yeah, no money technically, that's right, but you have nearly a 1 million sub channel. You have interviews with big people. You have a shit ton of fame. Your name's only big right now because there's drama that you started, which now is becoming more clear. It's just, you know, malicious and, you know, for, on one side, for your own self-gain. Which, by the way, is completely his fault, but at the same time, has only been perpetuated by morons who really want to be hungry for a story, that they don't question what he says. Like, they really want a narrative. It sounds gay, but it's like a Green Goblin narrative where the big guy, Mr. Beast, fell off. So whoever tells him that story, be it a moron, be it DogPack, be anyone, they'll just believe it. Even though now, I've seen right now, people be like, oh my god, what an insane plot twist. DogPack was actually wrong. Like, if you question on day one, like I did, I'm not bragging, but if you actually question him from the beginning, you'd know, then yeah, it's very clear this guy is lying and malicious and fucking dumb, like so clearly.